Yo, what's good, the legends? As some of you may have seen, my last video was a full tier 8 horde run with a BLEED Shout Barbarian. Yes, we only do damage with our shouts thanks to Dust Devils that stack bleed. Here's a great showcase of Butcher 200 level in tier 8 horde. As you can see, there's no problem with damage, with sustain, with anything basically. And we have such a high cooldown reduction that we can just spam shouts in, if we have 2 targets, minimum 2 targets, we can non-stop spam shouts. But there is a thing you need to take care of, you need to take a look at or be careful about. Because if you have too low cooldown on shouts, the server or the game will not keep up and you will basically use only 2 shouts out of 3. But shout out to Everett for showing me this build. The first reaction of, I think, appeared in China. I did some changes to this build, to this setup. But we're using triple shouts, we're using steel grass to group mobs together. As you can see, I'm just standing still, doing nothing at all. And the mobs and elites are just melting. You do want to like jump or get away from the explosions because a lot of the elites have affixes. I believe this run was extremely juicy with these explosions later on. I'll also show you the bosses. And we also have no cooldown at all on Call of the Ancients, so you can use it non-stop. We have non-stop resource generation from them. We have damage increase, attack speed not really needed. We don't stack that. Attack speed is only needed for kick, but that's not even that crucial. Because as I don't even use kick here and there, just only here and there for the elites. And I was also experimenting with some of the aspects. So here, for example, I am not running Inner Calm. I'm running Elements instead, but Inner Calm would be much better, just like Dagon pointed out on my last video. Shout out to Dagon and a legendary Barbarian. So yeah, that was just basically my first test run, and it was pretty good. But I would totally change that for Intercom. I was also trying out not running Devilish, but I believe Devilish just stacks Dust Devils too good. Now also, I have 2 items with damage for Berserking on one hander and an amulet, I believe. And if you do happen to masterwork one of the Berserkings to level 3, triple proc masterworks, you can save quite a lot of Paragon points and put them into Twister Glyph to max it out for even more Dust Devil damage, which I would love to do. Also, this build is by far from a good optimization. I just literally grabbed I grabbed those items, masterworked them, didn't reset anything, just slapped what I got, and yeah, this is the result. So all my items need to fully rework masterwork because I need to proc masterworks on crit damage to stack even more bleed damage, because right now on the bosses, I believe I was at like 500 million per bleed tick on the bosses, but it can go far beyond that. It can go up to 2 billion, I believe, or even, at least a billion and a half. So there is a lot of work to do, and also need greater graphics on crit damage on the 2-hander, I believe, also on ring, and then also on gloves. Yeah, I need a lot of work to do, a lot of gear to do. So yeah, I need to get some gold going and whatnot, which is pretty rough if you're unlucky with drops. But let me fast forward this to the boss fight. Oh, I got another butcher. I've had 2 butchers in one run. That was pretty juicy. I think I only picked it once as an affix. But overall, I was pretty unlucky with spires. I mean, getting good spires is one thing. That then also you need to get a good RNG on actually spawning those events, right? With the red bar. Mostly I was just getting soul spires. Unlucky. Let me go as well. Talking about soul spires, here we go. Another one. See a lot of these explosions, just, poison puddles all around. Crazy. Had every single elite almost was like that. We got another one here. This is wave 8, and this is the boss fight. So, this is almost like 700 ether with the bad RNG, not too bad. But yeah, I'm still learning how to play this build with the like pressing the buttons and like overall using kick. As you can see here, I didn't use kick for a long time, which I should. Not pressing it at all, which is a big mistake because kick actually does stack the bleed quite a lot, because it uses all your fury, because it's a core skill with the passive. Yeah, as you can see, it just changed quite a lot. And yeah, the damage is very, I mean, once again, I'm missing so much of the gear with the good masterworks because stacking crit damage with this build is very crucial. Our main damage comes from the bleed, so having a high crit damage for Gushing Wound key passive is pretty huge. So yeah, also if you're playing with Ancients, I do have Groundstorm Earthquake aspect. You need to play around your Ancients Earthquakes because, With Arid's Bearing, your Ancient does, you know, spawn and proc Earthquake. So if you see Earthquake, you need to stand in it to get the aspect proc. I believe I was failing miserably on that in that department in this run. So yeah. Also, there is some ways, like I need to do some in the past, for example, I did not pick Garaliel, but I believe Garaliel is very crucial, especially in this boss fight, as you could see over there with the fire damage that was hurting. So I had to move away, but I should probably pick Garaliel, yeah, for sure. Also, this right here is perfect angle to corner. If a boss is like that, standing next to a wall in the corner, it's just amazing because of the Dust Devils proccing everywhere. It's very good. Also, both of my jewels have very bad temper. I would love to temper with Resource Generation, but mine is bad. Amulet has Earthquake Duration, which is not needed at all. And my ring has a resource when you cast Ultimate Skill, which is not that great. I expected more. So Resource Generation on both of those would be much better, so we can use Kick even more often, because that Resource Generation would make it so your Ancients will give you a lot of Fury. And that's needed for single target damage. But these Hydras and this boss is very unlucky. The damage is pretty wild from these Hydras fire, because I'm not running that many things for damage reduction. Once again, Garaliel, look at that, look at him getting just chomped, man, chomped, crazy. But anyways, I'm gonna roll this run from the start, so you guys can see. I'm gonna move it on the side, and we will talk about the setup and overall the things. Put it like this, beautiful. So let's take a look at the gear, or actually let's take a look at the skill overview. Once again, using Kick to stack Bleed, Berserk Ripping on single targets. Call the Ancients for damage increase, also Generation for Fury, and also spawning Earthquakes for the aspect on the gloves here. Next up, Steel Grasp. You can just stand still and pull mobs together because this will have no cooldown at all. No triple shouts, you want to rotate between them. I mentioned it here in like 2 spots that your shouts need to be between 6.5 to 7 seconds. If you go below this number, I actually tried it. The lowest you can get is 6.24, I believe. If you go that low, the game will just not keep up, and out of 3 shouts, you will only use 2. So that's not a good look. 200X as a technique, we want to go for this bad boy. Going over the gear, we got Harlequin Crest. We want to get this cooldown reduction, a GA. I have a GA. If you don't have GA, don't worry about it. So you need 3. If you don't have Gather Affix on cooldown reduction, you can have 3 items for cooldown. First is this headpiece. That's how this build works. That's why we can spam everything non-stop. So we get this piece with cooldown. We get Ancient's Oath with cooldown as well. I did happen to drop a 4 GA full roll 60% from a Grigor. So I was pretty lucky, but should be pretty cheap to get because, you know, these items, no one plays that, so that's easy. And then third item is called the Rakonot's Wake. I mentioned it here, the boots. These boots have cooldown reduction. If you can get yourself a pair with cooldown reduction greater affix, even better. And with that, you can easily reach this cooldown reduction. So, which I'm not running on this build because with these 2 GAs, it's not needed. I'm at like 6.54 seconds on shout, so no problem at all. Tyrann's Might is the chest piece for damage reduction. Very good also for some extra bolts, which is very good damage too. And we get heal from shouts from raid leaders, so we can have this proc non-stop. Next up, we got gloves, crit chance, crit damage, strength, earthquake duration, and crit damage. Depending on your crit chance, you want to masterwork crit damage if possible, if your crit chance is good enough. Arid's Bearing, ultimate damage, everything maxed out, and greater affix on that is recommended. Also try to aim for max roll on the blue text in the tooltip of this item, because the middle where it says Helic leaves behind Dust Devils, those scale from yours, or actually that number scales to yours Dust Devils, so you will deal more damage. That's why, for example, on my Whirlwind build, which is on my YouTube as well, or in the right upper corner, I was able to hit for almost 700 million. On the boots here, Concussive Strikes, Warcry, all triple proc ranks, I don't have that. Use the Masterworks and Perfect Gear you see here, I don't have that. All this Masterwork is, I don't have this. The only Masterworks I have is the headpiece, chest, and the sword. I mean this axe, that's it. So Warcry, extra damage increase, Concussive Strike, extra damage as well, especially if the boss is staggered, which is the blue bar under its HP. That means it's staggered, that means this aspect will be active, 20% multiplier. Goes for any CC related damage and whatever. Next up, we get the 2-hander, Berserk Ripping. That's where the bleed comes from. Strength, crit damage, GA, triple proc on the chance for Dust Devils to cast twice. I would like to, I recommend this one. crit damage as the temper. Next up, from the dual wield, we got Devilish Aspect. This one adds to Dust Devils pretty well, and that's why I think maxing out Twister Glyph will be pretty crucial as well, if you do happen to get enough Masterwork on Berserking. Strength Max Life, crit damage. We want Dust Devil size on both the dual wields, both one-handers. The other one is right here. This is Fierce Winds Aspect. This one will create Dust Devils. From our shouts, we'll create Dust Devils. Max Life, Strength, and you only need one vulnerable on one item to reach Hemorrhage Bleed cap. The vulnerable, I'll show you later. Damage while Berserking, triple proc will be amazing, so you could save a lot of points in Paragon board. I still have those points in this planner, so there are some of the notes I'm going to talk about later as well. You can put them wherever you want. Ancient's Oath, already talked about this, amazing stuff. Next up, we got Starless Sky, crit chance if you can, triple proc it. Good for damage. Intercom, once again, I did not have this in the footage. I had Elements instead, but Elements is every 6 or 7 seconds physical damage increase. So for the next 7 seconds, it's a dead aspect, so that's not good. Result Generation is what I would love to get, but I don't have it. Same with, this is the same stat as on Gloves. Amulet here, Bolt Chieftain Amulet, very important, especially if you're against only one target to get the maximum cooldown reduction. This build will get even stronger because all aspects are increased by 5%. So this on Amulet in live server, CN5 on the footage is 3 seconds on Amulet. But in CN6, it will be 4.5 seconds, which is already insane. So we could non-stop spam shouts even if we have only one target in Season 6. Amazing. I cannot wait for that. Strength crit chance, Cut to the Bone, Earthquake, and Berserking once again to reach Blood Rage cap. Let's take a look at the, while we're at it, let's take a look at the gems here. We got the Emeralds in the weapons, we got Amethyst in the armor, Diamond or Skulls in jewelry, nothing matters because we're capped from for both. Skill tree, first 2 points, it doesn't matter, just to open up core skills. Well, actually, we don't even need anything here either. Pressure point, not needed. Hota, not needed. You can put these wherever you want, just to unlock this tree. Rolling Cry, this is our source, or Fortify. I still see a lot of bar builds with no Fortify at all. It's crazy. Conjuring Shout for extra fury here, but also damage reduction, obviously. Next up, we got Warcry maxed out. We want to get the damage if more than 6 enemies are around. Right Leader to get ourselves some heal for Tyrell's Might proc. And also, I would like to get 3 points in Garaliel. I would love that. So I will probably take some 3 points from somewhere. But I mean, this is only for like last boss, right? So I would probably just respec last 3 points from somewhere and put them here. Kick here. There is a... This one makes it so it's core skill. So this is some good stuff. Oh, and also... Okay, hold on. I'll talk about it in a second. Pit Fighter, Slang Strike, extra damage, Cut to the Bone. You want to max this bad boy out. Steel Grasp, we honestly need only the first one for making them vulnerable, I would say. That's the only thing. Counter Offensive for more damage. Call of the Ancients, amazing ability, brings too much to the table to pass upon this. This one right here is going to make your Ancients to create Earthquakes, by the way. Now, we got Heavy-Handed and Wallop. But you cannot assign any of the shouts to a weapon, right? So you're wondering, how do we do that? So basically, what you want to do is get Bash on your skill bar. Assign 200 mace to Bash. Attack with it once, so you have 200 mace in your hands. And then you can get that Bash away from your bar and replace it with whatever skill you just, threw away because of that. So with that in mind, the character will remember that you used 200 mace as the last weapon. So all your shouts and everything will be just, scaling from the 200 mace, aka heavy-handed, which is 200 weapon, and also Wallop. So that's why. Also, Mace has a technique where it has increased crit damage while berserking. I don't believe that stacks with Gushing Wounds, but it's still better than nothing, right? Gushing Wounds, this is the reason why we want to stack crit chance, also crit damage though, as much as we can. Paragon Point, excuse me, I just misclicked. Paragon Board, the first one we got going is Exploit for a Vulnerable. This adds even more to the Hemorrhage cap. Next up, we got Carnage Board. We don't pick this because we don't need attack speed. And here we put a Martial Glyph. This will secure more cooldown reductions. This will also buff the magic node, so damage while berserking. That's why we picked all 3. And also damage reduction. Now, these are the points you probably don't even need. If you have too much berserking, You need 296% berserking, which rounds up to 300% for blood rage cap Paragon node. If you have that, if you have over that, you can totally put points away from these nodes and max them out with Twister glyph, which is up next right here, the glyph. You can see this is a strength-based glyph, making your Dust Devils deal more damage. And you can see these strength nodes are not taken because I don't have enough points. So you can put them here. And this is the blood rage I was talking about, the damage. Another berserking nodes you can put away, put them somewhere else wherever you want. Honestly, this cluster is not bad either for the damage to elite and bleeding, which boss is both. Excuse for the webcam, by the way, it's getting pretty dark out here for some reason. So that was another board. Another one on the left side, we got the Bonebreaker board. I'm a big fan of the node here cluster with HP. And here is a great board, min-max for dexterity. So that's why we put Wrath in here. And some extra damage reductions. Why not, right? So that was right here. On the right side, excuse me, we got a Decimator. As you can see, amazing board, vulnerable stacking. You got extra HP here as well. I love it. We put Might here with 200 because we're going to be using 200 mace. And it also buffs magic nodes, which is once again vulnerable damage and also damage reduction. Extra HP nodes on the right side. And down here, last board, we go for Hemorrhage. This is the node where we want to stack vulnerable. For this, you need 356% vulnerable, if I recall correctly, to cap this out at 45%. So only one item with vulnerable is all it takes, and that's it. If you don't happen to have greater affix on vulnerable on the one-hander, and it's not enough, you can just masterwork it easily. And here we have a Rumble Glyph for the Earthquakes. This, as of current, in Season 5, caps out at 3 Earthquakes, so it's 30% multiplier, but another buff for this build next season, it will be 50%, so 5 Earthquakes, which is very good. And this is an amazing board for Strength node as well, Strength Glyph, excuse me, on the way here. So yeah, extra passives here for more bleed damage and damage to bleeding, so that's some good stuff. Going further, we get some strengths and weaknesses. So AoE damage is amazing, sustain is also amazing, mobility and other great stuff. The only weakness is you need high crit damage for the big bleeds from gushing wounds and cooldown reduction. But once again, I don't think this is too hard with all 3 items providing quite a lot of cooldown reduction. And the gameplay loop here, you want to start with Call the Ancients to get yourself, nice buffs with damage increase, attack speed, well, not really needed. Result generation as well for the kick if you want to blast on single target. But mainly you want to follow up with shouts, and shouts, if you use them, you will proc Martial Glyph and it will reduce cooldown of the Ancients, right? So yeah, I'll mention it here. Steel Grasp, when you stand still, no problem. As you can see on the footage, just pulling them together, which is very good stuff, because if you pull them together, kick is actually AoE ability. So if you pull them together, you can hit, all the mobs in front of you, which is amazing. Gonna stack even more bleed. So if I was lucky and I had the council at the end stacked together, it would be much faster clear. I did not have that. And kick here for single target, stacking bleed from Berserk Ripping. And yeah, that was pretty much it. When it comes to Consumables, I believe I was using the crit chance potion and crit damage because I was not capped out on crit chance. You want to use all 3 instances because they're all 3 types. Type 3 is Chorus of War for crit chance, overpower, and some all stats, I believe. Type 2 instance is all stats, and type 1 instance was strength. Yes. So once again, if you struggle with survivability, get Guttural Yell in the skill tree. Let me quickly see what we could probably sacrifice from this. But honestly, maybe Slaying Strike, you could sacrifice this for Guttural Yell, even though this is good for against bosses, but I would probably go with that, to be honest. Because there is not much to choose from anyway, from all around here. So I'll probably do that. Or Warcry, it's up to you. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I also stream every day on Twitch and YouTube, so you guys can check me out there. We can talk about some stuff or this build as well. I would, I would enjoy that. But thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a good one and peace.